Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes, and we're here to present you our NFL Week 5 quarterback picks. If you're new to this channel, please make sure you click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our NFL, NBA, and MLB videos. And if you haven't already, go check out our new website at www.dfscheatsheet.com. We have all the tools, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, everything that you need to help you compete with the pros day in and day out. So check it out at www.dfscheatsheet.com. So, hey, how you doing out there today, Jeremy?
What's up, man? I'm good. Got game day today, man. So I'm just ready to get this video done and then get back on track with what I'm trying to get done.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, hey, real quick before we jump in this video, hey, we just launched our NBA pre-order special a couple days ago. Yesterday, the optimizer actually went live with NBA. You could play preseason tonight with that. $200, you get all NBA season. My cash lineup Monday through Saturday for FanDuel and DraftKings. It includes the playoffs as well, so a very good value. Got NFL's rolling, been doing very well in NFL. We actually just launched a bundle. You can get our NFL and NBA package at a discounted rate. So go check those out on our website at dfscheatsheet.com. Got a lot of cool things going on. I'm going to be having some NHL videos coming up soon as well. This way, if you guys, love some hockey, want to get you guys some key plays, throughout the couple of days a week. So yeah, let's just get into this picks. If you're ready to go, Jeremy, I'll get it started. I'm gonna start first with Cam Newton. I'm really liking Cam Newton this week against the Giants. I talked about McCaffrey yesterday in our running back video. I really like that Cam Newton and McCaffrey stack this week. The Giants defense, they just suck. Plain and simple. There's nothing really else to say about them. Cam Newton, he's getting it done this year. He's been a great points per dollar play. The fact that he's running the ball a lot this year, it's actually giving him that really, really high floor. He's second in the league in rushing for quarterbacks. He's actually averaging so far through 3 games because he had a bye last week, 9 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. So he's actually averaging a touchdown a game on the ground through 3 games. So that gives you that high floor. The 945-1, that is what that gives you. That's pretty much an extra 10 points that he's giving you a week on the ground through the first 3 weeks. I really like Cam Newton. He's actually stepped his game up a little bit this year, and he's completing 67% of his passes. Up a little bit from last year. He's thrown for 5 TDs as well. He's a home favorite this week, and they have a 26 implied total on the board, so they're projected to put up a bunch of points on this Giants defense. And I'm gonna have to go with Cam Newton for my first quarterback play.
This is a weird week for me, man, because there's a couple of picks that you've given that I'm just completely not even on my radar. This is another one. You picking them, you liking them, I trust your research. For me, I just not excited to play Cam Newton, kind of like I wasn't excited about the McCaffrey pick. But the Cam pick for me, the guy's 21st in touchdown passes with 5, or 21st, 5, 28th in total passing yards, 648. He's only thrown it 95 times. I know they're coming out of a bye, and so it's only 3 weeks. But the thing for me is they have no weapons. They just they're not – it's Cam Newton. So, I get playing him solo and hoping he has a good game or a monster game against a bad defense where nobody owns him. For me, this is really a Cam Newton play. For me, is really a deep tournament play. Like I said, I'll trust your research on the play. For me, not a guy that I'm on, not a guy I'm looking to play, just because I think there's a lot of quarterbacks in really good spots this week who have a lot better weapons around him than Cam does. To be honest with you, I think Cam as a quarterback as a whole has been a bit of an overrated player in his career. The guy doesn't have weapons, and he doesn't make the players around him better. He's very dependent on Greg Olsen. He's very dependent on he was very dependent on Steve Smith. He's now very dependent on Christian McCaffrey for production. As a human being, he's a monster. He's huge. He's like a linebacker playing quarterback. So he does have the ability to get out the pocket and do things with his feet. But compare him to a Deshaun Watson, when you come and you tell me that you like the extra points with Deshaun Watson, those 4 or 5 extra points he's capable of getting with his legs, to me, in my mind, I hear extra points because Watson has the ability, one, to throw the football. I don't think Cam Newton's a very accurate passer with the football. Number two, Watson has weapons around him. And number three, Watson, I think, is an overall better quarterback. Cam Newton, they're not extra points. Like, you need him to get rushing yards to get you points. You need him to get you a rushing touchdown. You need him to get the goal line carries. So I'm not excited to play Cam Newton. I get to play against the Giants. It's just not a pick that's really on my radar this week.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to tell you, though, he's going to throw for at least 2 touchdowns this week. I promise. Mark my words on that one.
To who? Funches? I mean –
bro, he's gonna throw 2 touchdowns though. All right, who you got for us?
If you told me that you guarantee two red zone scores from Cam Newton with his legs, I'd be like, all right, I can see that. I don't know, man. To me, Cam Newton, I think look, I won $50,000 with Cam Newton as my quarterback. Right. So I'm not saying that, I'll never play Cam Newton. I just think there's a time and place for Cam, and it's got to be in a situation where they're dependent on him moving the ball with his feet. Right. And he's got somebody around him to at least toss the football. He's got McCaffrey. He's just dependent on McCaffrey. That's all.
So who you got for us?
So I'm taking the guy on the other side. And what I mean by that is I'm taking Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan, as the week goes on, Matt Ryan, first of all, on Sunday when I first looked, was my favorite quarterback on the slate. I just thought Matt Ryan's he's in a very, very good spot this week. And then kind of as we've done videos and we've interacted with like the 5-pack guys and some other stuff we've done, Ben Roethlisberger appears to be the most popular play at quarterback this week. And that's that could be some Antonio Brown, that they don't have Le'Veon Bell. Juju Smith-Schuster's played really well. So, it's not like Ben Roethlisberger doesn't deserve the attention he's getting. He does. It's the same spot for Matt Ryan. It's just when you look at Matt Ryan, Pittsburgh's the worst defense of the two, right? Julio Jones, okay, Antonio Brown, you got Julio Jones on the other side. Juju Smith-Schuster, you got Sanu, or you got Calvin Ridley, right? So, to me, it's kind of an identical spot. I just think Matt Ryan has, been the better quarterback this year. 99 for 145, 1,316 yards, 10 touchdowns, only thrown 2 picks. He was my preseason pick to be, and this is the guy that I thought was going to have the best year. I thought he'd be the top quarterback when it was all said and done this year. I feel like they have something to prove. Everybody in Atlanta is under contract. These guys are still bitter about going down to New England and blowing the Super Bowl. I think that Matt Ryan is the leader of that team, and I just feel like this is the week, and where you've got he's already played well up to this point. This week you have a week he's going against a really bad defense. Their defense is not good. Going against another offense that has to put up points. I like Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan outperforms Roethlisberger in this one.
Yeah, no, I like Matt Ryan. I mean, we talked about this game so much in pretty much all the positions. There's no reason to not mention Matt Ryan. I definitely think Matt Ryan's a really good play this week. So that's going to lead me into my next pick. I'm going to go to the flip side of it. I'm going to go with Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben, I mean, we know the guy's going to chuck the ball. This game has the highest implied total, like you said, with Matt Ryan. He's actually a favorite. Big Ben is a favorite this week. And I mean, he's throwing the ball a lot. Through 4 games, he has 186 pass attempts for 1,414 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's leading the league in passing yards. I mean, he has 2 legit receivers in, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. Atlanta, they've given up the fifth most yards, this season so far through 4 games. And I mean, in the past 3 games, they've allowed at least 31 points to opponents' offenses. So yeah, Roethlisberger, I think, is in a really good spot, just like Matt Ryan's in a really good spot as well.
I mean, I don't have anything else to add to that pick. I think it's a no-brainer pick. Make sure you get exposure to Ben Roethlisberger. The only thing I would say is that in tournaments, limit your exposure and don't go 100% Roethlisberger, because he's going to be so popular. You're going to have to be different somewhere. you don't necessarily have to pick that as the one spot to be, but I think there's guys who have, when you start getting in the lineup building, you don't have to have 100% Roethlisberger this week.
Yeah, no, definitely. So who you got for us next?
I'm going back to the well, man. I'm going back to the well with Derek Carr at $7,000. They're in the second highest over under of the week against the Chargers. Last week, he puts up 33.58 FanDuel points, and his price went up $0.0. So no price change. The guy's improving, just like I said when I picked him last week. That offense is improving. If you look, week 1 against the Rams were 9th. As we sit today, the Rams are 9th against the pass. Week 2, he improved against Denver. He only had 2 incomplete passes in that game. Denver was 17th. I should say they are 17th right now against the pass. And then if you look at his last 2 weeks against teams that are in the bottom third against the pass, he goes 62 for 97 for 782 yards at 5 touchdowns. Going into last week when I picked him, he only had thrown the 2 touchdown passes. And I thought he's really, this offense is going to click. Carr's going to start throwing touchdown passes. He delivered last week with the 33.58 points. San Diego is not a great defense on either side of the if you want to talk about run or pass, they're 18th in the league against the run. They're 20th in the league against the pass. I think Derek Carr has no problem moving the ball this week against the Chargers defense. The Chargers have shown in the past, especially if you want to look at some recent games, they've given up points. They've had to score a lot of points. I think that Carr is a supreme bargain and a really good buy low opportunity. I love to see a guy have a really good week. His price doesn't change. And then you top it off with there's all the excitement this week is going to be on Pittsburgh and Atlanta. There's just, all the sexy names are in that. Matt Ryan, Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, a rookie coming on, Juju Smith-Schuster, the third leading target getter and third leading receiver in the NFL right now. So all the sexy is in that game. Whereas you look out to the West Coast and you got a game at 105 that has 2 quarterbacks that sling it with 2 defenses that are mediocre at best, and a ton of weapons in that one too. Amari Cooper, like we mentioned in the video the other night, bona fide number 1 wide receiver, all the upside in the world of a Julio Jones or Antonio Brown. Keenan Allen's a target monster. The guy can get 15, 16, 17, 18 targets in the game. Phillip Rivers on the other side of that, right? So I love the game. I think the game goes under-owned. I love Derek Carr. I think he has huge upside in this one as well.
Yeah, no, I like the pick in Derek Carr. You picked him last week, and I agreed with you. Every week so far, the offense has been improving. Last week, he had everything clicking for the most part. This week, the matchup is, it's not a worse matchup. I definitely think this game could pretty much score the same amount of points that the Pittsburgh and Atlanta game could score, and it's going to be a lot lower owned. I definitely like the Derek Carr play. He's a very, very fair price tag. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and he definitely has some really good receivers in Amari Cooper and Jordy Nelson. Plus, you got Cook at the tight end position. He's been doing very well so far. So the guy has some weapons. I definitely think the Derek Carr play is a really good play this week. So moving into my last pick, I'm going to go with Andy Dalton. This Bengals offense has just been good so far this season. They have the 4th most points that they've scored in the league this year. Andy Dalton's 2nd in the league with 11 touchdowns thrown so far. He has 2 really good receivers in A.J. Green and Tyler Boyd. The guys have combined for 46 catches, 646 yards, 7 touchdowns through 4 weeks. The Bengals, they're a favorite against the Dolphins this week, and they have a really high implied total of 28 projected points as well.
No, I think Dalton is another guy that's like a Carr, and he's like a Rivers this week, where the attention's not going to be on him. It's not like this is a really exciting game where people are lining up to watch Miami and Cincinnati this week. It's not a game that, unless you live in Miami or you live in Cincinnati, it's not a game that you're looking to really – that's the one I'm circling that I want to watch, right? So especially on the early side of it, where the 10 a.m. slot, that 10 a.m. slot is going to be dominated by everybody wanting to watch Atlanta and Pittsburgh. And when that happens, people want – in this daily fantasy game, people want to watch the players they have in their lineups, and the players they're going to have in their lineups overwhelmingly is going to be from that Atlanta-Pittsburgh game. Andy Dalton not getting the notoriety he deserves so far this season. From a passing standpoint, you really hit the nail on the head. He's having a really good year. I believe of the 6 interceptions he has, 4 of them were in one game. I think somebody got him 4 times. I have to double check that stat, but he's thrown the. My point being, he's thrown the ball a lot better than he's just had one bad game where he threw some picks. The 11 touchdowns already on the season, and then you look at it from one thing I like to look at when I look at quarterbacks is I want to see who's actually throwing the ball, right? It's good to have a guy in a good spot. It's good to have a guy who can deliver, who's got some weapons around him, but if he's only throwing it, 15 to 20 times a game and they're relying on their run game, then, maybe he's not so good of a play. But if you really look at it, and we talked about with Bernard is a pass catching running back. That's what his true form is. So Andy Dalton's really got at any given time 4 to 5 wide receivers on the field, right? If they're in a 3 receiver set, 31 personnel or 22 personnel, whatever they're in, the tight end, they got, the tight end getting injured last week was a little, unfortunate, but he's still got 2 bona fide wide receivers, and he's got a running back who's a pass catcher as well. So I like him. I think that right now they're in a situation kind of like New Orleans was in, before getting Ingram back, where they've got to throw the football to move the football, and that's the guy who's doing it's the Red Rocket.
Right.
So my last pick that I'm going to come with is in the same game on the other side of my second pick. I'm going with Phillip Rivers at 8,200. 11 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1,156 yards. The guy's been really good. He's 4th in touchdown passes. This game, again, the second highest implied over-under of the week. The Chargers with the second highest implied total. Vegas thinks they're going to score a lot of points this week. And then, like I said, when you start looking at – you're trying to pick guys who are going to throw the football, like I just mentioned with Bernard, you can take a look at Melvin Gordon. He's the same type of running back. Gordon has yet to have that game where he's just pounded the ball between the tackles, and the Chargers have relied on him to move their offense. This offense moves with the right arm of Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is prone to throwing picks. That's kind of always been, the knock on Rivers is he can throw picks, right? I mean, but so far this year, he's only thrown, the 2 interceptions. 11 touchdown passes to 2 picks is really efficient, and it's even more impressive that it's Phillip Rivers, a guy who's been known to turn the football over. So I think he's got good weapons around him. He's got 2 deep threats. He's got the possession guy, Keenan Allen. He's got the check down guy with Melvin Gordon, even getting production out of Ekeler. The only place that they don't really have good production this year is from the tight end spot. Gates is really he's fighting old man time and trying to hold on to it. But I love this game. To me, it's kind of a toss-up for me because I like this afternoon. Just the way I build lineups, I like to have the afternoon hammer, and I love this game. I mean, to me, I'll have a lot of ownership in this game, paired up obviously with ownership from other spots we've talked about, but I'll have a lot of ownership in this game. We've mentioned a lot of the guys. So Carr, Rivers, Cook, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon. A lot of my picks this week have come from this game. It's a game that I really like.
Yeah, so I mean, I really don't have much to add. It's pretty much the same as the Derek Carr play for me. I'm really liking this game as well. I definitely think it's going to be really high scoring. Rivers, he's shown us in the past he could put up monster fantasy points, throw 5 touchdowns. He does have some really good weapons. So yeah, man, I definitely like the play. He's going to be low owned. Him and Derek Carr both are probably going to be 5% owned. And that's how you win tournaments. They both definitely have the upside. Great pivots off of Roethlisberger, off of Matt Ryan, some of those chalky plays. And, hey, that's all I really got for quarterback, bro. You got anything else for us before we get out of here?
So Brandon Romero would like to know if he should trade Aaron Jones for Doug Baldwin in a PPR. He has currently his wide receivers are Hopkins, Boyd, Edelman, and Lockett. His running backs are David Johnson, Leonard Fournette, and TJ Yeldon.
Me personally,
you got the Fournette and Yeldon handcuff deal, so good job with the draft there and picking both those guys up. David Johnson, to me, it's a matter of time. I think this is it's a guy that I haven't given as a pick, but it's a guy I really like this week as well. I think it could be a get-right spot for him to kind of get things back on track. I'm not sure if I make the trade. I'm not sure if you need him. You've got Hopkins, Boyd, Edelman. Edelman coming back is a big boost to your roster. And I'd rather have, to me, just building lineups on a weekly basis for daily fantasy. If there's a decision between two wide receivers, to me, the question I always ask myself is who has the better quarterback? Well,
Right.
Tom Brady's a better quarterback than Russell Wilson is. Russell Wilson's not been great this year, and the New England Patriots as a whole is a better offense than Seattle's is. So, I mean, I think you could probably just maybe stay where you're at unless you're looking to acquire Aaron Jones for Doug Baldwin. I make that trade all day long because of the fact that you got Dion Lewis.
Yeah, no, I definitely I would stick with Aaron Jones. We talked about him on our running back video yesterday. Really like the guy. Definitely think they're going to start getting the guy the ball more. And like you said, I mean, there's no point of trading and making your wide receiver a little bit more deeper, and then your running back's going to be shallow. You kind of want to make sure it stay balanced throughout the season. You know, running backs for me, and especially season longs, are like gold. You want to hold on to as many starting running backs as you can. You can always pick up wide receivers. You can get solid third, the third wide receiver on a team that's going to get weekly production. Compared to running backs, you pretty much need those starting running backs that are going to get for sure carries. So yeah, I wouldn't make that trade personally. It's something that you got to kind of decide on your own though.
Sir Dave is one, just to add a comment here. He doesn't like your Cam pick either. He says Cam has no receivers. I think maybe that was in response. I think that might have been in response to your 2 touchdown call.
All right, hey, I'm telling you, he's gonna throw for 2 touchdowns, bro.
And then the last question, Stuart Todd is asking, do we like Blake Bortles and GPPs? Yes, I do personally like Blake Bortles and GPPs this week. Not a guy I gave as a pick. I think Bortles is going to be a lot more popular than people think this week because everybody's on Kansas City. And you have to figuring ownership out is not. I mean, it's not an exact science, and sometimes doesn't require brain. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to do it. People are aware that Kansas City scores points, and people are aware that Kansas City's defense is not very good. Having said that, Kansas City is fun to watch. Kansas City is going to be probably one of the more popular games next to that Atlanta-Pittsburgh game on the morning slate. Blake Bortles, I think, is a really solid play. I just don't trust Blake Bortles. And Blake Bortles, to me, is a lot like Cam Newton. I think Blake Bortles has a little bit better weapons. Neither of these guys, to me, are very accurate passers of the football. They're not – I mean, if you gave me a pick right now in a franchise and said who's your franchise quarterback, I'm not picking Blake Bortles or I'm not picking Cam Newton. But for 1 week, I get the Blake Bortles play here too. It's just for me, I'd rather have Derek Carr at 7,000 than I would Blake Bortles. But if you're building, 150 lineups and you're talking about an exposure thing to Bortles, 10%, 5 to 10% exposure to Bortles is perfectly fine this week in tournaments.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like him for GPP for sure. So,
that's it, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, I'm out. About to get my day started. Hey, good luck tonight on that football game. I hope you guys win. You got it, man, for sure. And hey, have a good day. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll probably try to get a player pool video in. So make sure to have the notifications turned on. Go check out all of our packages that we got going on for NBA. Some very good deals. We're going to be playing some preseason tonight as well. So jump in with that. And hey, I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Peace out.